Stopping quarterbacks from rolling out in college football 25 is incredibly hard to do. You've probably seen quarterbacks just run all over you. I want to give you two different ways to slow down scrambling QBs. First and foremost, let's look at our defense here. If we look at our defensive ends, they're in basic pass rush angles. But if I do this really quickly, they are now in quarterback contain angles, which is going to do a way better job of getting upfield. I'm going to show you how to do this in a second here, but look at the difference. We roll out like that, and we're going to instantly get hit. Whereas if we don't have those contains on the field, and we just try to instantly roll out, notice what can happen. He can take an inside pass lead or a pass rush lane, and we're able to easily roll out. Major difference. So, to contain the quarterback, we just need to simply press RB or R1, and then tap it again. So it's just double tapping it. And here we go. We're going to have the quarterback contains on the field. Now, a major mistake that a lot of people make when they do these quarterback contains is that they'll have their defensive line like super pinched in and still have that contain. If you have this guy, Walker right here, in a contain, he's so far in that he might not always be able to actually contain, which kind of defeats the purpose. You see that right there where he's in a contain, but he's so far in, he's getting out leveraged. So a rule of thumb for me is that I want these contains to be outside of the offensive tackle, and ideally, if there's a tight end, outside of him as well. It's a very easy thing that we can do. Now, the next step of being able to stop the raw quarterbacks, let's say you don't want to do that, or that's not working super well for you because someone like Jalen Milroe might just be able to outrun that contain, is by putting a spy on the field. So we're going to select a player here. Let's say we're on the middle linebacker. We're going to tap A or X on him on PlayStation, and then right stick to the left. This is going to create a QB spy, and so if we get rid of these contains right here, let's watch what our quarterback spy does when I go to roll out. You're going to see he's just going to simply mirror the quarterback. And right there, we got a good shed from the defensive line, which is great, but doesn't always do that, which is why we would want the contains. So let's do this quarterback spy again. It could be anybody. It could be this defensive end even. Let's do it on the defensive end on the right here. Let's try rolling out. And you're going to see that quarterback spy just match us. Now, keep in mind, the quarterback spy is going to do a good job of limiting yards past the line of scrimmage, but the quarterback spy can't, like, you still run behind the line of scrimmage on it. So you kind of see that right here. We're still able to run behind the line of scrimmage, and then you'll make a cross-body crazy throw. So they're both kind of used in different ways. That quarterback contain is going to keep him in the pocket, and the QB spy is going to make sure they can't get yards scrambling up the middle or up the sideline. And if I've given you any value so far in this video, consider doing me a massive favor and hitting the subscribe button. Ever since I started YouTube like 4 or 5 years ago, my goal's been to hit 100,000 subscribers, and we're starting to get closer and closer to that. So again, if I've added any value to you, consider just doing me a favor in return and hitting that button. Let's say I'm on this top right safety, but I want to get over to this guy on the top left. A lot of people would just press B or circle until they get over onto that guy, but that is not totally correct. Instead, what you want to do here is hold B or circle and push the left stick in the direction of who you want to switch to. This is just this is how you're going to switch players much, much faster. So let's say we're on this deep guy right here, but I actually want to be on my slot corner on the left side. Let's hold B or circle and press down on the left stick. This is massive for making sure you get onto the person you want to be on, whether it's who you want to user when the ball is snapped, or if you want to put this guy into special adjustments and then get back up onto this guy. Because look, if I was to just tap B or circle, I would go to the top right safety, but I don't want that. I want to be on the slot corner on the left. Or let's say I want to go from here to the middle backer, right? So hold B or circle, use the left stick to push it in the direction you want to change to. Now, when the ball is snapped, we can even take this a step further, actually, using a feature called switch stick. Keep this feature in mind because it's going to come up later. Let's say I'm in the middle right here, but I want to go to the top middle of my screen. Use the right stick and go up, and now we're in this top middle. But now I actually want to go back to, I want to go to the top right. So we're just going to push the right stick to the right. All right, I want to go to the bottom right. Let's go to the bottom right there. We get sacked, but we're able to do it. This is called switch sticking and works whenever you are using a coverage defender. This is actually the #1 defensive mechanic I recommend everybody get an idea of how to use, because this is how you're going to be able to actually force turnovers. So let's show the power of this again, okay? Let's go from, let's say they're running a corner route on the right side. So this is the little route combo we have on the field right here. They snap the ball, and I see corner route. Oh my goodness. I want to switch stick to a flat defender over there and then actually go make a play. And you can see what the value of that is, because the corner route looked like it was open, but then we switch sticked over there and we're able to take it away. Keep in mind, you can only switch stick if you're using a defender in coverage. So right here, I'm able to switch stick with the left or with the right stick, pushing it to the left in that case. I skipped all the way over. This is directionally sensitive, and if you're not very, like, you can mess it up. Right there, I actually wanted to just go to the hook curl, but instead I went all the way over. Now we're doing a little bit better of a job, and we're able to take care of it. If my user was blitzed, let's say we're in a blitz assignment, okay? And we try switch sticking. We cannot. You have to be in a coverage assignment to be able to switch stick. You just won't be able to. Only way around it is that if you're blitzing, or let's say you get caught on a defensive lineman, if you push the left stick up and tap B, you'll actually be able to get onto a coverage guy from there, but that's a little bit more advanced. Keep the idea of switch sticking in your mind because we're going to revisit the same idea in a more advanced concept later in this video. Defending an offense that is dinky and dunky on you is incredibly frustrating and just tough to do, because if you've seen how tackling is in this game, if you've seen how good it is to like spin after the catch, get yards after the catch, it's just like this is a very easy way to make a living on offense. So I want to show you guys something that you could do to slow this down. And there's also a little bit of a hidden trick here as well. So first, all we want to do is call a zone play. I chose cover 3 sky here. It doesn't really matter. I would just, I guess, recommend cover 3 of some sort. And then tap Y or triangle on our controller. And then you're going to see with the right stick, we get different types of shading. We can go over top, inside, outside, or underneath. Right here, we're going to tap the right stick down to go underneath. And you may have noticed that we used to have purple zones here with this flat. Now he's turned into a hard flat. Now he visually changes, but there's some other changes on this play that happen as well. But first, let's just show what he does now. So now he's in a perfect position to get a pick. And he's going to do a good job, whether it is a flat route from the tight end, a flat route from the running back. Let's see this, a flat route from the running back against the non-shaded zone coverage. Let's go here, bang. Able to throw the halfback, and he's able to catch the ball before getting hit. And we could probably do that again to make it a little bit of a better, get a little bit better of an animation. So we're able to get like 5-6 yards or so. This time, we're going to shade our coverage underneath, do the same exact route, look to throw it, and now he's getting hit as he catches it. Major difference, right? And that's simply by shading our coverage underneath to get a hard flat on the field. These hard flats will typically play around 0 to like 4 yards, give or take, on the sideline. But there's also another thing that changes on this play. So let's reset here, and let's actually get rid of this curl flat who's over here, okay? We're going to put him in a spy. So now let's watch how this hook curl plays. I am not shaded down, all right? But I want you to pay attention to how this middle linebacker in a hook curl plays. We're going to be able to throw this drag underneath him. Pretty easy, right? There's nothing too complex right there. The hook curl does not play it. Again, right here, no shade, tight end drag. Easy pickings, right? What if we shaded underneath and it actually had an effect on our hook curl? So let's get rid of this curl flat. And now we have our coverage shaded underneath. You can tell with the hard flat on the right. But watch what my hook curl is going to do right here just because we shaded underneath. He's actually going to bite down and make a play on this drag route. When you shade your coverage, you will actually have a big impact on how your hook curls play as well. Even though they don't change their play color or their play art or anything like that, they're going to play lower or higher if you shade over top. You see that makes a massive difference. Shading underneath for hook curls, I love doing it in short yardage situations, or if you're setting a heavy blitz, because they can almost act as like a little bit of a flat route. Notice how he's playing a drag. He's playing it not super long, but like he's doing a good job against it, right? And again, just by shading your coverage with Y or triangle, that's going to have impact on all of your underneath zones in the game, including any kind of mid reads you might have, right? If you have curl flat, hard flats, the shade underneath will turn every type of flat zone into a hard flat. Only thing it won't impact is your deep zones, really. They will stay deep zones, and they will have pretty much the same assignment and play relatively the same no matter your shade. So a really helpful thing in this game is that every type of defense has a little bit of a tag on it. So if we go right here and we look at the top left, you'll see cover 3 sky has a zone tag. Pinch 0 blitz has a blitz tag, and the cover 4 quarters has a match tag. But there's a really interesting fact that I'm about to talk about really fast, but I want to show you what match coverage actually is and then how to turn it off. So right here, we have a very basic offensive play, and then we have what appears to be a zone coverage, right? This looks like just pure zone. But if we snap this ball, watch where my zone defenders all go. They actually all match onto somebody. And a good example of that is number 0 right there actually came from the outside right here. Scott, watch what Scott does on this play if we call it again. Scott actually matches all the way across. All right. So what match is essentially is that they start out like the zones that they're representing are accurate. It's like semi-accurate. It's just that they're going to end up matching on and playing man coverage on a receiver based on different rules. And different matches all have a bunch of different rules. You can kind of see the idea right there. So this is a little bit of a almost like a hybrid, but you won't typically see them play their exact deep zone area like you see right here with match. If you want to turn this off, you could simply press Y or triangle and then down on the right stick or up on the right stick, shade our coverage, and look what happens here. Same play, but let's watch that outside right corner. What we're going to have here is just basic coverage, right? That is called drop zone coverage, all right? So it's pretty basic. That's the difference between match and how to turn match off. But what a lot of people don't know is that when it comes to something like a cover 3, or a cover 3 blitz rather, we actually have a match in here. So corner blitz 3, it shows a blitz tag. This is a blitz, like obviously, but it's also going to be match coverage. I can prove it to you right here, right? Let's go to this, and I'm going to spy the defensive line just so I don't get instantly sacked here. But if we snap this ball, look at the defense, snap the ball, you're going to see that this is not exactly what is there. And you can actually see it with that top right safety. He matched on to the deep post. So let's watch Robinson up here. All right, he's in a deep zone. This was a blitz tag, but we just snap the ball. Look what he does, and we get screamed at. But he's going to actually match in. I'll show it again here really fast. I'll just spy my defensive line again, just so I don't get absolutely buzzed at. Go here. And you're going to see Robinson, that deep right safety, actually played all the way into the middle. And you actually saw an underneath route get open on the right side because my seam flat on the right also matched. Easy way to turn this off is the same idea. Just press Y or triangle and down or up on the right stick. And now if we do the same thing, let me spy my defensive line, you're going to see that they are not going to match anymore. Right, you can kind of see that right here. Boom. No more match. Can we catch it? No, we throw a pick. Dang. But yeah, that's a massive way of like how to turn off match, the little different tags. And cover 3 is a little misleading, or cover 3 blitzes, I should say, can be misleading because they're tagged as a blitz, which is true, but they're also a match coverage. That goes for all cover 3 blitzes. So you've probably heard about this idea of coverage shells. And what you're going to do this is simply get to the play call screen and use the right stick. Now I'm going to give you a quick rule of thumb. I like to use the cover 2 coverage shell because that's going to give you 2 high safeties and make your defense look relatively the same. I like to do this if I'm running a zone coverage. See here, I'm in a cover 3, but I'm showing that cover 2 coverage shell, and they won't ever know. And it's going to keep everything, again, looking relatively the same, regardless of what coverage we're actually calling. But there's one coverage shell that people don't really talk about ever, and it's, well, it's actually 2. It's cover 0 and then 2-man. These coverage shells are what are called man aligned. So the reason for that is that 2-man and cover 0 are both man defenses. And let me kind of showcase why this is important. So if we were to be in cover 2, let's just call cover 2 really fast, and let's call the cover 2 shell, and let's call the play cover 2. See right here, this is what the defense looks like. It looks pretty basic. If I go back and now I go to 2-man, let's see what this defense looks like here. Go 2-man coverage shell, and then we're going to go to cover 2 again. Look at now, we actually look like we're in man coverage here, but we're actually in zone. This can offer a massive, massive benefit for just confusing people, because I would think every single time I saw this, I'm thinking man coverage, man coverage, man coverage. If you're actually in zone, it's a really easy way to get them to call bad route combos. But there is a little bit of a down side effect of this, where by being man aligned in zone, you actually see this cloud flat is lined up on the wrong side of the field. This is where that corner should be lined up. It's just they don't switch the assignments, right? I'd rather have this guy in the hard flat, right? But because they don't come stock like that, this could easily be exploited just by simply going underneath. So while I think that the man align using cover 0 or the 2-man is really, really good for disguising as zone coverage and running just basic man coverage from that, I wouldn't recommend it as some of you use regular zone coverage from too often unless you're very experienced with making quick adjustments and other things where you can make up for some of the natural, like just weird shells that this will give you. Because again, we don't want a cloud flat on the right side starting on the left. Instead, we'd want to do something like this right here where whoops, wow, that came out way wrong. Something like this. There we go. something like this right here, we're able to actually disguise this coverage a lot more. And then when they call one of their, typical man-beating plays, they're not able to really throw anything. That's what we'd want to do with the coverage shell. So this is a super underused run defense tip that, like, it's so easy that I don't know why people aren't using this a little bit more. And I want to showcase it here. So if we're on offense, we can actually hold the left trigger and push the right stick to the left and see our blocking assignments. This is a new feature they had this year. I actually love this. And so with this, though, you can see my user on defense, Keys, is getting blocked. And if we snap this ball, you see he ends up getting blocked. Now, there might be sheds or something, but you get the idea. But watch what happens here, okay? My user is blocked. We walk back about 10 yards. Notice they don't see him anymore. And when I snap this ball, we're actually going to be able to come totally free. That is a massive thing that is coded into pretty much every college football, well, probably every college football for the future game, and every Madden game that I've played for the past few years. Do the same thing again, and you see, look, I'm blocked. I'm blocked. I guess right here, I'm blocked. All right. Now, sometimes you can find little, like, depending on the formation, you can find little, like, ways to get around the blocking. But standing 10 yards back will always keep you unblocked against pretty much everything, right? You can even see that. Let's go against something like RPO alert motion bubble, right? Where if we look, I'm again blocked. They see me. They don't see me. And so same idea. Let's go here. Let's see if we can shoot it. And guess who comes totally free? Never blocked. I do. My user does. Easy thing you do. You add this to any defense. Doesn't need to be formation specific. Just simply, boom, come down. And now you just got to go make that tackle. So I've never been a big settings guy. I just usually leave my stuff at default. But that is just, you can't do that this year. So let's go into gameplay settings right here. And let's scroll down. And we're going to start doing some things that are going to help us on defense quite a bit. Auto flip defensive play call. We want this on. Defensive ball hawk, we want this on. Defensive heat seeker assist, I want this on. Keep in mind, my settings, like this is just me personally, dude. My settings will just reset randomly. I don't know why, so it might be worthwhile you checking these settings between games, when you boot up, whatever it is. Mine just reset, and it's kind of frustrating because I think defensive heat seeker helps so much with gap shoots, like we talked about earlier with the run defense, standing back, coming down, and making that tackle. You want defensive heat seeker on big time. And then the window size, I just use 200. I know some people, I've heard of some people using 10. A lot of people, I think, just use it at 100 because that's default. I use 200. Switch stick delay is actually a new feature or a new setting they just added with the patch maybe like 2 weeks ago. I had this at slight. This is going to add a slight delay before the at the snap, before when you can actually use switch stick. It's really nice if you're making adjustments pre-snap. Slight is what you want for this. Moderate, I think, is throw it out the window. Disable switch stick, I think, like, switch stick is such a powerful thing in this game. And, like, it is probably it is the number one way to get stops, especially in online play, of switch sticking between defenders. You don't want to disable it. And then having it at none, it's like too responsive. So you want it at slight. I also like using defensive switch assist, although I can't figure out if this is placebo or not. I just feel like this helps with my switch stick quite a bit. But that could be placebo. These are just the settings that I use that work for me. Keep in mind, though, like I said, these will randomly reset on me, and I have to go into my settings and change them again. So this is a basic run play against a basic defense. Heck yeah, brother. You've seen that a million times. Now, on defense, if we tap RB or R1, you saw earlier we talked about double tapping that button to be able to quarterback contain. But now what we're going to do is actually look at what our options are with the right stick. We can do what's called guess play, and we could pass commit by hitting up on the right stick, or run commit by hitting run left, run right, or run up the middle with the right stick in just the directions that those are, right? Now, I want to be super honest with you guys. Run committing to the left or right, I feel like doesn't do a ton. What I'll usually do is run commit middle. So let's go down to the right stick, and this is going to be a full run commit to the middle. And what's going to happen here is really, like, notice what our top safety does. Like, this is the easiest guy to pay attention to, right? This guy right here, Gilbert. He's in a deep middle blue. And if I press nothing, I don't run commit, notice he's going to backpedal, right? He's just going to play whatever. Now we run commit middle, he's going to immediately come crashing down. This is a complete sellout for the run, okay? This is a complete sellout for the run when we do this. Run commit right, in my opinion, just doesn't seem to work as well. And right there, we actually do a good job. So, like, in my experience, run committing in the direction of the run doesn't work as well as just run up the middle run committing, but you could do that. And that's going to be a full sellout to the run. But there is a big downside to doing this. And that's going to be, see if we can do it right here. Let's go run commit middle. Bang. Touchdown. Or a potential touchdown, right? We're going to be able to potentially get above the receiver. Right there, we actually get kind of a bad pass. But you get the idea. Like, we could get easily above the receiver here or the defense because they're all crashing down so hard. So this is a massive, massive risk of giving up a one-play touchdown. And I've seen it give up a lot of one-play touchdowns in the past. I really only use run committing in situations where I 100% know they're running and I need a stop. Like, and it's like 4th and 1 and we run commit. Because that's what's going to get everybody selling out. I know they're not passing. And if they break a big gain after that and we just miss the tackles, it's whatever. But I only run commit in big-time sellout situations where I know they're running and I really need to make sure I'm able to get a stop. Now, pass committing is actually going to be bad against the run, obviously. Let's go here. Let's pass commit. You're going to get worse sheds. You're going to get worse tackling for the most part. I feel like there's a tackle decrease rating I'm fairly certain of. Maybe it's placebo. But on top of that as well, like, you aren't going to, you're just going to, like, all your players are going to play pass first, so they're naturally going to be worse against the run for the most part. They're going to shed worse. Everything's going to be worse. Now, if you were to pass commit against a pass, though, what's nice about that is that you'll get better sheds. Like, simple as that. You pass commit against a pass, you'll get better sheds. And if you have defensive line abilities that can shed, something like a quick jump that's going to get you faster off the line, interior disruptor, I think it gives you some interior pass rush moves. Pass committing is going to help those happen faster. But again, if you pass commit on a run, you will pay a price of not being able to tackle as well, not getting as many sheds, etc., etc., right? There's a pass commit, and we're going to get better sheds than we would. Honestly, I pass commit way more than I run because there's just less of a penalty for it. Because run committing, you could give up one-play touchdown on. Pass committing, usually you won't, but it's definitely not good to pass commit against the run. But with that being said, you can go entire games without doing this unless you pick up on a tendency of your opponent. I just think it's important that you guys know what these features are because these are things that could be the difference between winning and losing against a really good opponent who you're evenly skilled with. And it's coming down to just a few minor adjustments. So I get asked all the time, Civil, who should I be using on defense? I want to give you guys kind of rules of thumb of who you should be using, okay? First and foremost, who we never want to be using is somebody who is blitzing, whether it is a defensive lineman or an actual blitzer. You never want to be using them unless, and it's only in this situation, which almost never actually happens, you have like some way to get like an instant win where you can sack the quarterback super fast, okay? But you see right there, notice my user did literally nothing. My user just was caught up in a block the entire time. Instead, who we want to user is one of our underneath defenders. Now for me, I typically prefer to user a yellow zone, okay? One of these hook curls over the middle of the field. Although you could, in theory, user a flat defender if you wanted to, okay? And the reason for using a yellow zone is really there's two. First and foremost, we have a ton of range, right? We can do a lot of different things. So what I mean by that is, let's just use this play, for example. I'm going to follow Y the entire time, okay? We just followed Y all the way across the field. Now, my user here is slow. You want somebody fast and tall there, but you get the idea. We just follow all the way across to the left or to the right. This time, we're actually going to go all the way up to the left. Notice the, like, just by making that change, even if we call the exact same defense, by literal definition, we are running two different defenses play to play just because our player is going to a different area, right? And so you can do this with a flat zone even too, where, you know, you're here, you're here, you're here. Oh, now we're going to work in the middle, right? But maybe next play, you're following all the way up the sideline or something. The reason we can't really do this with the deep blue is because we have so much risk of something bad happening. And that's really the main reason, or that's the next reason why I like to do it with an underneath defender. Because if we just bite down here for a second, well, they get a one-play touchdown potentially, right? Our deep blue has to be way more disciplined in using deep. Now, there are situations where I will use a deep blue, especially against like the run, right? Remember our 10 yards back run tip? Well, look who's already 10 yards back. Our deep blue is. So if they run, we're able to come down, come free, go make a tackle pretty easily, right? And it's going to get an extra guy in the box. But we don't really want to be this guy if they're passing a lot because it's just high risk, okay? So we're here, boom, let's go. You know, we're trying to switch stick around, whatever. Right there, I think I got caught on the, I was up top, so I switched stick down. But really, really easy, right? And that is the basic rules of who we want to user. Mind you, this could change a little bit based on your defense, based on what you're trying to take away, if you have a good blitz out of something, whatever. But almost never do we want to user a blitzer. If a D ends in a hard flat, that's fine. Like, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And then right there, really good switch sticking example, by the way, because that would have been a bomb. Instead, was a pick. That's a power switch sticking. Let's say we're in this situation, we're playing somebody online, and they keep on attacking the deep sidelines. Now, this could be a corner route. It could be like a deep crosser, something like that, just attacking deep sidelines. Well, I'm going to give you a really easy solution to this really quickly here. All we got to do is on defense, let's click the right stick in. Then we're going to go down to our zone drop, and we're going to go zone drop curl flats. We're going to set this all the way at 30, okay? We have it at 30. Then we want to call some sort of cover 2. This could be Tampa 2, cover 2, whatever it is. Cover 2 drop works perfectly. Now let's call this same play, and let's set up the route combo again. What I like to do here is take my slot corner. We need to be in a formation that has a slot corner and put him in a seam flat. So it's tapping A on him or X on PlayStation, then up on the left stick. That's going to actually get a seam flat. These get to the sidelines a little bit better than curl flats do, in my opinion. Although you could put a curl flat on somebody as well, which would just be pushing the left stick to the right. All right. Then we can go back to our user right here. Let's snap this ball, and let's see how this seam flat does. Notice now the corner route is no longer open. Simple as that. We're going to be able to bag it. Keep in mind, a curl flat works here as well. It just doesn't get to the sideline as well, so I think the seam flat is a little bit better. But to get the seam flat, you need to do it from your slot corner. Let's see here. Yeah, you see, like, we're able to still throw that corner out a little bit, and we actually held on to it in traffic there. Prefer the seam flat. Let's do it again. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. Left side. Gets outside of him a little bit, but it's going to be a tough throw, and we're able to knock that ball out. And that's even to the wide side of the field. That is a super easy way to slow down corner routes and any kind of crossers that you play online. And these tips are great for playing defense, but if you want to become a totally unbeatable College Football 25 player, you need to check out this video right here where I break down 10 tips on exactly how to do so.